Welcome to Game Crunch, your weekly video game podcast. My name is Mike Anastasia. With me today we got Brandon.
Hello. I haven't slept in today.
I don't know. My hype was pretty high last night, so I really did. I think I was like really excited about today.
I've literally been hitting refresh all day on all the leaked pages because they did put up the SKUs earlier this morning, right before everything went live without prices and shit. And also during the show, there were SKUs up and everything. So everyone, myself included, assumed that it was going to go live after the thing, you know. And I bought a PlayStation 5 from Walmart a week ahead of time. I bought a PSVR from Target a week ahead of time. I bought a Switch from Walmart a week ahead of time of anyone else. So I expected Walmart to break, the date, the supposed April 9th date, which is what we currently have. That's not in the presentation, so I'm not spoiling that. But yeah, so I was expecting that, and I've been up all day because they've been like doing more things, like adding landing pages, adding prices of the games they showed off, adding this, that, and the other, adding the price of the system itself, putting up where you could click to be notified, telling you that you need to be logged in before they go live because it'll be on a first come first serve basis, and they're expecting lots of traffic towards it. And then Amazon Italy, Amazon Portugal, Amazon UK, Amazon blah, 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 blah. All of their pre-orders went up like at once outside of the United States. All of them went live.
Yeah, it's like GameStop Australia. They went up.
GameStop Australia. All of these people are putting up pre-orders that aren't the United States. So I've been like sitting here like, okay, well, which one's going to be the first to crack and just put up their pre-orders first? That's what I've been thinking. So
I've been anecdotally Best Buy is not until the 9th. So I know that one at least.
GameStop's not until the 9th also. They have it on their landing page. Walmart says it on their landing page now, and supposedly Target does, but there is no landing page for Target. So I'm hoping maybe they end up being the one that breaks it. They did it for the original Switch. Maybe they'll do it for this one. And so I've been watching. And my problem is also I'm buying 2, possibly 3. So I need to get it from multiple retailers because supposedly it's on a one per account basis. Yes, which makes sense. One per account. So I have that added issue. So yeah, big problem. So I've been up all day, kind of
just watching,
mulling that over, watching and seeing what's happening. And I still am. I'm refreshing the Reddit right now, which is updating anytime there's a new pre-order that goes live.
So all right, yeah. So obviously, listeners, we're talking about Switch 2 today.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry about that.
Today's we just saw the Direct. Obviously, we have that to talk about, and that's the big meat of this episode. So, and we're gonna talk through the Direct. The Direct was earlier today, but we're gonna watch the video. And we're gonna kind of talk about the comments as we go through.
I sort of watched it this morning. I watched as much as humanly possible, but something you need to know, Mike, and this is for you. You're not going to see it in this because it was only during the live stream, and everyone else saw it during the live stream. Audio was out of sync. Video would play over the top of other video. There was issues with the entire stream the whole time they were trying to do it, and so a lot of times the audio would continue playing, but it'd be on a still frame of one game that was just shown for like 1 second, and then they're already 3 games ahead, so you missed all the other shit that was going on in between then. And that happened multiple times during the thing, and it wasn't like an issue with me, it was in the live chat where everyone was like, shit, it froze again. So they were having some technical difficulties presenting the Switch 2 also this morning.
I mean, I watched the back half. I didn't have any of that at all. Were you on YouTube?
I was on YouTube. Yes.
That's very strange.
Yeah, it was the last, I would say not the last 15, 20 minutes, but like the 10 minutes before that last half. In between there, they had where they were doing like a sizzle reel, and they showed this one, and I won't forget it because I kept going back into it, and I even tried doing it on my computer, and it was all the same in every place that I went, on my TV, my computer, everywhere. There was like this like Castaway 4-player game, and it like introduced it. It's like an indie title, and then when it introduced it, like all 4 players were on screen, and then it just froze. And they kept talking and kept talking and kept talking. They went through 3 more games, and all of those games were not being shown, and it was just frozen on that one screen.
Oh, and then maybe I just didn't realize it was there because I saw when that game was playing. I gave 0 fucks and I just stopped paid
Yeah.
like close attention. Just because I was at work, so I just was like, I'm just gonna keep working until there's something else I care about. So yeah, so it's possible. I just didn't even realize it with that case. But yeah, no, that's kind of obnoxious. But at least it didn't happen like during Mario Kart or Donkey Kong, I suppose.
True. And Donkey Kong came right after that, so it was like, yeah.
Mhm.
Anyway, doesn't matter. We're gonna watch this now and talk about the actual stream. I didn't get to see some of it, as I just explained, so I'll be seeing some of this for the first time as well.
Yeah,
And
most
also,
of
was like
the first half is going to
halfway.
be new for me too, because I
Yeah.
don't remember exactly when I jumped in. It was somewhere I think around 9:20, 9:30. So
Okay.
I didn't see like the Mario Kart stuff. So
Okay.
actually, I think maybe I was coming in as it was ending. I don't remember. Somewhere around there. So anyways, you ready to get into it?
Absolutely.
All right, let's do it. All right, count us down.
3, 2, 1, play. There we go.
Oh, there's a ball.
Little ball. Yeah. Little like fidget toys. Fidget toys. All right. So anyway, yeah, like I was saying before, there's a lot here, and there's a lot I actually really want to talk about. And while we're not seeing anything important right now, I'm just gonna kind of yap a bit. So
yeah, there's a lot of information in this direct.
And a lot that wasn't. So
yeah,
that's the other thing.
There's probably going to be a lot the next 2 days too, because don't forget there's a 4-hour treehouse tomorrow and a 3-hour treehouse the next day.
Jesus Christ!
Oh look, it's the Mario Kart.
Yes, this game looks incredible.
Yeah, it looks very good.
Also, if I can point out something, if you look at the resolution, this is in 4K.
Oh, is it?
Yes, it is. This is the first Nintendo Direct in 4K.
I was also going to say too, and Nick was like, when he said to you, like, I'm surprised you're so interested in getting this in day one, and I was thinking to myself, I'm like, some of these trailers definitely spoke Brandon's language when they were like 120 frames per second and da da
da. They did, but there's also something else that spoke my language, which you'll see a little bit later. There are 3 things in this direct that are on my bingo card for never showing up anywhere ever. I had given up on them, and they're in this direct.
Well, it's interesting. Mario Kart looks really good.
It does.
Although I do have to say, I'm kind of surprised that this is their big day one title.
Oh, I'm not. I know you don't know much about it, but it's about to tell you. I'm not. This is definitely showing off the power of the Switch 2.
No, that's not what I mean. I mean more of this game's going to sell gangbusters and it's going to do really well. That my commentary is not on that, but it's really more about the fact that they don't have any like substantial first party single player game.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. Like no Mario, no like Mario Adventure, no Zelda, big overworld kind of, thing to keep.
I mean, Donkey Kong comes out a few weeks later, but we'll get to that a little bit later.
Yeah. Well, this is what, July, late July, I think.
Yeah. Wait, you mean Mario Kart?
No,
or Donkey Kong. Yeah, late July. Yeah. For some reason, my subtitles are in French.
Oh,
that's fine. I don't need them. But no, do you know anything about this Mario Kart yet, other than what me and Nick were yapping about?
No, I don't know anything at all.
Okay, all right. Yeah, Nick said something for a reason. Mario Kart World. Yeah, that's a huge world, right?
Well, it makes sense because everyone's like, well, how are they going to build on Mario Kart? Well, there you are. Make a big old world.
Oh, that's a little bit different than that.
But it's not, I'm saying more, it's just not your standard cup circuit thing that they have been doing for the last 8 Mario Karts.
So. Yeah, listen, you can go off the racetrack and drive everywhere. It's an open world Mario Kart game.
Okay, so you got your standard Grand Prix.
Yes, but you have to drive to the next course after you finish your laps.
Interesting.
Yes, and the way you get there is up to you because it's completely open world. That's why Nick said it's like Forza Horizon Mario Kart. I'm so excited for this.
Yeah, that's a neat idea, actually.
See? Look at that. That's so cool.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. And actually, the idea of driving from one race to another is kind of neat because that kind of solves that thing where it's like, your placement based on, where you finish.
Exactly. Open world free roam.
They give everyone like different costumes too.
Yeah, multiple costumes.
Oh, there goes Peach off the road.
Yep. I'm really excited for this aspect of it. I think that's going to be like really fun, just exploring the world in online mode.
Oh yeah, definitely can be. I'm sure there's gonna be lots of like secrets and stuff to find.
I was thinking the same thing too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there's a penguin.
Oh, they decided to put everyone in this game for some reason.
Yeah, I see that. And I did see that they're doing a direct for this game in what, about 2 weeks?
Yep. Yeah, there it is.
Nope, yeah, April 17th. Although, probably a good place to talk about this since I know there's a little dead time after this, but
Yeah.
also going to be $90 if you want the physical edition. So
yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
However, I will say Walmart, Best Buy, and GameStop still have it listed as 80. And I don't think they're allowing you just to buy digital versions. So I don't know.
I don't know. All those stores do sell digital editions though.
But it's the only one they have up.
Oh, interesting.
So that's why I'm a little. So the $90 thing is the UK price translated to United States. We don't know for sure yet because no one's selling it yet here.
But I think the picture that Nick sent us showed that was one of the prices, right? No, I think the picture I sent.
$79.99.
Huh?
So it's $79.99.
Oh, that one. No, that one I sent was digital. Yeah. Where's the one that Nick sent?
Oh yeah, here's this. They decided to introduce. I can break this down for the people that are listening at home. They decided to introduce voice chat, and camera functionality.
Yeah.
Game chat. That's what the C button is. That was on the controller. It's basically Nintendo's version of Discord.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool.
It does. However, this is one of my few complaints, and you'll see it in just a minute. All right?
Yeah.
Wait until you see the frame rate of them playing.
The other people playing? I saw it.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my fucking god! Like
it's like 10. It's like literally 10.
Yeah, that's just kind of like. I mean, I guess it's better than just a screenshot of what they're playing, but yeah, it's not like you can watch them play. I don't know.
I think I would rather just keep their icon on the screen than seeing them run it like 10 FPS and take up my CPU from my Switch.
I don't remember if you're watching someone else's directly.
Yeah.
I don't remember if the frame rate improves. Like I understand it when you have like the 4.
It seems like if you have 4, it's like running at 5 FPS. It looked like if you had 1, it was like 30. I don't know. But the thing is, here's the one thing that I noticed about this, right? Their frame rate may be really low below. However, the game is still rock solid for the person that's playing. And that is something that is to be commended, I think. That's actually very impressive. And having that lower frame rate down there is still enough to be able to give you a visualization of what someone's playing so you understand, like what they're trying to tell you. If someone's like trying to show you something or like teach you something about the game, you could do that with that lower frame rate pretty easily,
Exactly. And I wonder too, like, because I don't remember if they show it, like, if you decide to pick someone's. Oh yeah, here we go.
Yeah, no, that looks really bad.
Oh yeah, it does still look really bad. I was like, oh, maybe if it's just one screen, it will look better. Nope, it's still bad. Better slightly, but not like a quality thing.
This will definitely be something I test day one because I'm the streamer guy. So, so yeah, basically, what it teaches you is, hey, you press the C button and you can pull up a chat menu. One thing I do find pretty interesting about this is the function of noise suppression, which they built into this, which I do think is very good. A noise suppression option is so cool.
Yeah.
I think this camera's a fucking ripoff, though. It is $60 for, that.
Yeah. I mean, maybe there's some use for it. Does it like
one thing I
Mario
do notice though here, right?
Something gameplay wise.
Multiple things do, and we'll talk about that a little later too. But one thing I do notice here, right, is that when they were showing the game behind them, right, they were chroma keyed out like it was a green screen.
Oh,
how does it automatically do that? Is it do it like through AI? What's it doing? That's what I'm curious about.
Yeah, it's kind of it's probably
it's got to have some kind of like AI tracking of the person or something,
Yeah, but nothing too wild. I mean, it's not a.
Yeah, you can definitely still see the dithering of the person's cutout, but it's better than nothing, Better than just yeah. I kind of like the circles better, to be completely honest. I think it's
same.
more convenient.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks like you can even maybe set the background for those kind of things.
Yeah, I think so too.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, I definitely think this is a step in the right direction for where they have been.
The price isn't.
So. Well, it's not like you have to use the camera, and the microphone's built in.
Yes, but also this requires online. But they are doing something that's pretty good. They want to get everyone kind of into game chat and using it. So for the first year, it's free.
Oh, yes.
It's your first hits free,
Yes. So is it a different cost above NSO?
No. It's tied into NSO. So let me go ahead and clarify that.
So it's not like it's an extra cost beyond
correct.
NSO.
It's just
so if you already have
NSO.
NSO, then it's included. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
And there it is. So yeah, the open access period. So basically you have almost a year until March 31st of next year.
Yep.
So that's nice. And this definitely, like I said, at least seems like it's the most user-friendly version that they've tried to do over the last couple generations. So that's good.
Yeah.
This man's wearing a very weird jacket. I do like this game sharing thing here.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that's a nice feature. And it was kind of rumored beforehand. I do think that this technology obviously does open the door, kind of the stuff that we talked about before. Like if they wanted to bring back, say, a Nintendo Land or port it to the system, something that they could obviously
do something like Four Swords Adventures.
Yeah, yeah, actually, absolutely great idea too, and that would be nice with the GameCube on NSO too. Definitely would be a way to do that for sure.
Yep.
And it's nice that they're patching some of these old games to do game share.
Yes.
So Clubhouse games makes a lot of sense. Some of the other ones I was kind of surprised about.
I really want Clubhouse games, and this is probably going to make me buy it.
I love Clubhouse games. It's actually I go back to that game a surprising amount of time.
But yeah, now we're seeing some of the system itself, the Switch 2. They just showed the controller and how it attaches. They're about to explain how they use magnets in the controllers to attach them now and keep them in place. What they just explained is it's almost an 8-inch screen, which is pretty fucking big.
Yeah.
It does 1080p. So we're jumping to 1080p, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And we'll come back to that information in a little bit later because I think there's some really good hardware here. I do think this is closer to that PS4 Pro people were saying it was going to be. But then again, there's also 4K, which we'll get to a little bit later. I don't know, man. I don't know. And 120 FPS for the screen. High-end PC games don't, PC handhelds don't even do that. So that HDR support, super cool.
I think having the Joy-Cons connect magnetically is going to be nice. Yeah. I hate dealing with the rails.
So as you can see here, this is like Mario in a different outfit. So we got multiple outfits for every character, as well as Karts in Mario Kart, which is kind of cool. They made this R and SL buttons way bigger in case you actually
want to play it. Small on the current.
Yeah, they're insanely small. The control sticks are larger. They didn't say if they're Hall effect, but I really hope they are.
There was a rumor that they were going to be. I mean, that I'm sure will.
This also has my attention. This is incredible. The mouse controls. It's so cool.
Yeah.
And we'll see some mouse control games in this video, and I have some very, very I have some feelings about them.
I think there's definitely some good uses of them, and there's going to be some poor uses of them. So
I'm just going to say this. It already tells you at some point that Metroid Prime 4 will use mouse controls, and that a first-person shooter with mouse controls instantly had me be like, "Oh my fucking god, I'm so happy."
Yeah, I figured that would be a big one. Also, too, not that I don't think I'd use them, but they did announce that Civ 7 will support.
They did. I was just about to mention that for you as well because I know you love your Civ games.
Yes, I do. I'm excited that they announced in this direct that it will have an upgrade version. So that one's already on my.
I'm happy for you. I'm very happy for you. Legitimately,
to upgrade now. Yeah,
same.
Even I'm still in the middle of Kirby and the Forgotten World, and I'm like, well, I guess I'm gonna hold off on
the upgrades has not been announced yet on the stream, and it won't be. But I'm gonna go ahead and drop this bomb. They're part of NSO.
Which game?
Upgrades are part of NSO.
Oh yes. Yeah,
So
so
you don't
at
have
least
to
some of them
upgrade
are.
if you yeah, we don't know if all of them are or if it's just some. It's
Mhm.
assumed that like the bigger ones like fucking Breath of the Wild is and
Yeah.
oh,
Well, we know
256 gigabytes
we
for
know for a
internal
fact that
storage is
Mhm.
insane.
Good insane or bad insane?
Very good insane.
Hmm. What was I gonna say though? The
The dock has 4K support, as we already talked about,
yeah,
and it has a built-in fan for cooling into
which is
the
smart.
dock. Very smart. I also like
Mhm.
here that no one really, it's kind of glossed over, but you can see you can choose 1440p as well, not just
Uh-huh.
straight 4K.
Oh,
That's a
nice.
really good option. So it's good to have those options for like monitors because I have a
Yes.
1440p monitor that's bigger than my 4K monitor. I would
Oh,
probably want to play it in 1440p on my bigger monitor. So
that makes sense.
yeah. hmm Plus my 1440p monitor is 165 hertz, so I can get that 120 FPS. Unlike my 4K, which is only 60. So
Hmm. Yeah. One of the screens, and I don't remember which one it is
hmm
in this direct, but I saw on Reddit. Apparently, one of them actually shows Yoshi's Woolly World.
I did not see
Um,
that.
in the in the background, and they're just
Mm.
like, that's not an announced game, and it's not on the Switch. So are they porting it from the Wii U? Is it because it's one of the last few games that's there?
mm.
So like maybe.
But this is kind of a dud for me, right? This right here
Oh
is kind
yeah,
of a
this
dud for me.
HD like this demo game. Yeah, it
This
looked
demo
dumb.
game that's an actual full ass game, it it looks like it's trying to be Astrobot with none of the charm.
Yeah, that's kind of what
And
I figured.
also, like, here's the thing. Like, I look at it and it's running through a bunch of tutorials that you just press A and then read a tutorial that teaches you about the game, like teaches you about your console. So, like,
There are the magnets.
what? Why is this a part of the game? Do something cool with it, you know? I don't know, man. Like, they
Yeah,
show some mini games a little bit later here, but this just kind of looks like a big old dud to me. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Who knows? But like
no, I
what
agree.
they
It
show here,
looks.
it just looks very nothing burger.
Did they
And if
say
this is
what
like
they're
a
looking to charge for this?
no,
Oh, if it's anything more than $5, this is too much.
oh, I'm totally expecting like 40.
Yeah. Yes, we already know. You told us.
hmm
Oh, that, about the mouse controls. I'm just responding to the video. Sorry,
Yeah,
listeners.
I do think this is
Um,
cool. Well, it shows you how to like how you could play like mini golf
uh-huh.
using the mouse, which I didn't even think about that
Oh,
because
that's a good
I think
idea.
about like shooting, I think about like stuff like that.
Yeah.
And like here's the mini games they're showing and they're like little tech demos and things and it's like okay this is neat but it's like you know a lot of this feels very much like you're just tutorializing with a payment you know
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and there's some more stuff in there that could be interesting, but at least what they showed,
yeah like we
maybe
saw
not.
some mini games and they looked okay but like that's like nothing more than like $10 I'd say
Yeah,
honestly
game cards are red.
yeah but there's a little bit more to game cards so they're not going to tell you there's game cards and there's game key cards. The game key cards don't have the game on the cartridge. They are literally just a license that gets read when you put them inside of your Switch system.
Yeah,
It's a digital license and the game is not on the cart.
yeah. There are
That's
already some Switch games that kind of do the same thing.
yeah, but
Um,
like it's kind of weird to like have a cart and also have that higher price
mhm.
physical when it's literally doing the same thing as I don't know, man. It just seems really weird.
Yeah, part of it is, I mean, I think the extra cost for physical is because, probably partly because of the tariffs, but also because the cartridges need to be a faster read speed, so I think they're a little bit more expensive.
Yeah, but
Kind of like how they talk about the
if it's
XD
digital,
SD
then it
cards have to
doesn't.
be the express cards because they need the faster speed that's closer to SSD.
Hmm.
Um, like I was already pricing out a new card, like a 2 terabyte, or sorry, a 1 terabyte card is $200. So.
You could buy right now on sale if you just want to add another 256 gigs, $40.
Oh, that's not bad.
So if you want to add another 256, you can get it for $40 right now. Amazon put it up during this announcement, which was kind of funny.
Well, when I looked
So
at
it's a
the
sale.
SD cards, maybe 2 hours later, I saw that they were already updated with Switch 2 information.
Yeah.
Release date's June 5th, since that's what they're
hmm
talking about right now.
Yep.
So coming up super fast. I think that's a little bit faster than I think maybe we guessed, but
Yep.
kind of within the window. We figured late May to June. So, but I think we kind of figured it'd be more on the later side of June.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and here's where they're talking about the different types
There are
of games.
3 different types of games for
Mhm.
the Switch 2. Nintendo Switch 2 games, which are exclusives, compatible Nintendo
here's
Switch
the
games.
Yoshi's Craft or Yoshi's Whirly World was on that screen.
I just saw it. Yeah.
Mhm.
What the hell?
Yeah. And then there's going to be Nintendo Switch 2 edition games, which we kind of talked about already, which it seems like there's going to be quite a lot of them. So
yes. So one of the ones they show next is Jamboree, Super Mario Party Jamboree TV.
Which is great, because it's already like the best Mario Party.
I think this looks awesome, and I kind of want it.
I am all in for upgrading this. But it's stuff like this where I'm like, why isn't this available on day one? Like, why do you got to wait a month for this?
Do we have to?
I think it doesn't come out until July.
Oh, weird.
We will see in a minute. Or if not, we'll see a little bit later. But
uses the camera also.
Yep, here's your camera. Oh, look at you popping out of the pipe.
Yeah, I kind of like this. It's very charming.
Yes.
And silly.
Mm-hmm. Which is exactly what you want in a Mario Party.
You know what it reminds me of?
Huh.
iToy.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I want to play Mario Party Jamboree. This looks so much fun.
It's fantastic. I love this. Like I said, it's one of the best Mario Party games that's come out in like generations.
Mm.
And I think we talked about it during Game of the Year, but really the only complaint that you have about it is
Bowser Live has you in the actual game.
Huh?
Bowser Live mode has you actually in the game. It's really fun. See, this is why I said it looks a lot like iToy. See?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is what I'm interested in. This shit looks awesome. I'm really happy.
Yoshi's safety bar is really far forward. He's gonna fall out.
Shush, it'll be fine.
That's not even holding him in.
I
is literally outside of the cart.
A first-person shooter light gun game. I mean, not first-person. A light gun game on a moving monorail where you also play mini games in between, like shooting things while on the roller coaster and shit. I love this idea. I love the idea of using this mouse. I really want to use this mouse.
Yeah, I think they've thought of some good uses for it already.
I agree.
Oh, they were just using the microphone for a rhythm game too. I didn't see that earlier.
Yep. They were clapping, which was in rhythm to the song playing.
Yeah.
Which I think is really cool.
Yeah, see, July 24th.
Oh, you're right. That's weird.
It's almost 2 full months after the system comes out. I'm curious about how much these upgrade packs will cost. I've heard somewhere between 10 and 20 depending on what.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking it is too, and it also makes sense if you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Because you like, the $80 price point of Mario Kart.
Yeah.
And then you think of like a $60 Switch game plus add 20.
Mm-hmm.
That would be like the upgrade cost. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know.
I will say I instantly noticed when I saw the Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom stuff earlier. I was like, oh, this runs so much smoother.
This looks amazing. It looks absolutely amazing.
And this is why I held off on playing it until I saw what they were doing at the Switch too, because I'm like,
I'm going back through and playing both.
To play through it again. So
I never finished Tears of the Kingdom, so this is gonna be me finishing.
These are going to be available on day one, so that's at least will be nice. And strangely, they're adding app support for.
Yes, and the app works like Siri, where she will give you directions, telling you like how far forward you need to go and everything. Voice navigation. They'll be like, proceed north. That. Yeah, it's kind of neat, right?
That's fucking awesome, actually.
You can also share your items that you've made, like your designs and stuff, and send them to your friends and stuff. Share them online. And people can scan the QR code, and then they can create your thing that you've made in the game in their game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love all this. It's really neat.
Yeah.
And this is smooth as fuck, dude. Yeah, that's at least 60, maybe 120. I can't really tell because I'm watching this on 4K monitor, so I don't know. But that's really smooth.
It looks smooth to me too.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm excited. So they announced this. What we're looking at now, Kirby and the Forgotten Land. There's going to be basically a Switch 2 edition that comes with extra content. Mm-hmm. Yeah, which is great because I think I literally was just like, I hope they do a sequel for this sometime soon. So, not quite a sequel, but more content's great. This is an excellent game.
Yeah, I never finished this one all the way, so this will probably be something I go back to also. This gives you a lot of information about how things work on the Switch 2. Watch this shit, because this is
about Metroid Prime 4, right?
I think this is what excites me the most. So first of all, here's the controller. You can use mouse controls for a first-person shooter, and it looks incredible.
Oh yeah, that does look really nice.
It looks so good. Look at this. Quality mode 4K 60 FPS HDR or 1080p 120 HDR. That's cool if you go performance mode. Handheld's 1080p 60 FPS HDR or handheld 720p 120 FPS HDR. So you can do 120 FPS on the handheld as well, but it drops it down to 720p. This is Legend ZA. Look how much better this looks.
It does, but the frame rate still sucks. Because I could notice the frame rate still not quite crystal smooth. It's definitely better than it was on the last presentation though, last week.
I'm gonna say this is like between 40 and 60. It feels higher than 30. That's like for sure.
Definitely better than what it was. But it doesn't seem like it's as smooth as the other ones.
So here's the other thing, right? I don't know if it's actually the frame rate or if it's the animation quality. I can't tell which one it is.
Yeah, that's a good point. We didn't consider that, but it does. I do agree though. It looks so much better.
Yes. This made me laugh. This made me laugh a lot because I felt bad for laughing at it too.
Oh, I know what you're talking about, and yes, it's pretty bad, and I know exactly. I thought the same thing.
Special Olympics basketball. Let's go.
Yeah, it's really what it looks like.
It is what it looks like. But I think these are supposed to be robots because it doesn't look like people, especially when you start doing all the like special tricks and shit. So I'm not sure what this is.
But I think they really made a mistake by making it look like they're in
wheelchairs. Yeah, I agree. This is a little touchy here, I think. Also, this game better be only like $20 because it doesn't look like it deserves to be higher than like $20.
This reminds me of that mini game that was in
I do think it could be a lot of fun. I do think it could be a lot of fun, especially with all the like tricks and shit, like the Tony Hawk style shit they do.
Yeah.
However, I think the general aesthetic of it is just he has legs. Those aren't robots. This is actually fucking Special Olympics wheelchair basketball. Okay. I have a lot of feelings about this, and I don't know. Is this insensitive? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I can't tell if it's being. By the way, those animations looked really bad. That wasn't 60 FPS.
No, this was definitely not as smooth as some of the other games. I did notice though that when we were watching this, you could actually see like the next court. It looked like they had people playing, which was kind of cool. But I have very little interest in this game. Like this is not.
This would be fun if it's like a $15-$20 like little title. But if it's anything more than that, no. I do think it could be a lot of fun, though. It does look like it could be a fun multiplayer game, and it is something very different. That's. Let's start with Elden Ring, by the way. Here are our Twitch partners for Switch 2. Twitch partners, listen to me. Switch partners for Switch 2. And the first one they show off is Elden Ring. But they're showing new content in this that's not currently in any of the other versions of this game.
Oh,
so that's interesting.
Well, I mean, it does seem like Nintendo has made a very good relationship with them. So,
as you can see here, this clearly looks like another like 45 to 60 FPS game, and not fully 60 to 120. I don't think it looks bad though, and I'm not going to buy it because I already own it on 3 other consoles. But Hades 2, Switch 2, that's cool. Yeah. I really liked Hades 2. I've been playing it on my Steam Deck a lot. It's very fun.
Yeah, it looks very nice.
I forgot. Did you ever play Hades?
No, it's not really my thing.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, I mean, it looks fun, but just not something I think would keep my attention long enough to justify it.
Okay. Moving on to the Capcom game they're going to show. It is Street Fighter 6.
Interestingly, they announced Amiibo for this today
They did, and they looked awesome, and they announced it in this video also.
Oh, did they? I didn't see him. Are you sure they announced the Amiibo in here?
Yeah.
Because I didn't see it until after.
It's at the end. It's at the end. There it is.
Oh, yeah, there it is. Yeah. So there is going to be a Street Fighter Amiibo, and they also announced today new Tears of the Kingdom Amiibo.
This came out of nowhere. This game's kind of crazy to be getting a Switch 2
Oh
continuation.
yeah, this is what the something Ex Machina.
Yes, Daemon X Machina sequel. And
Yeah.
honestly, it looks way better than the original, and it looks
Oh yeah.
really good.
Yes, it does.
And I was
The
thinking,
mhm.
what about mouse controls for controlling the mechs? That would be fucking cool.
Oh yeah.
So I
I
kind
mean,
of want that.
they're kind of like what we talked about when we were talking about the Switch kind of unveiling, and we're like, okay, it seems pretty clear it's going to be mouse controls. If you remember, one of the things I said at that time, I was like, the fact that you have a mainstream consumer device like a console with built-in mouse controls,
That's going to open up a lot of that's going
yeah,
to be kind of
a lot
crazy.
of creative ideas.
hmm
Hmm.
Oh, and here's Split Fiction
Hmm.
coming to Switch 2. Apparently, this game is incredible. One of the highest rated games that's come out so far this year.
Oh, really? I've never even heard of it.
It's the next game from the people that made It Takes Two.
Oh, it looks pretty cool.
And A Way Out. It's one of those co-op games, one where it's all co-op.
Yeah.
Very good game. You played it. Did you ever play It Takes Two?
No.
Oh, that's a shame. That's a fantastic game also.
Hmm.
I also thought this was kind of wild. EA announcing support for Nintendo when I believe they completely skipped the Switch at first until they finally just gave in and they half-assed it all the way through. So them doing EA games out the gate is kind of wild.
Yeah, EA's been half-assing Nintendo though since at least the N64.
Now we're looking at Hogwarts Legacy on the Switch 2, and honestly, I think it looks really good.
Yeah, it does look very nice. The Switch version was supposed to be very very well built, even with the lesser power. This looks really nice.
So this is a launch title for Switch 2, Hogwarts Legacy is. And this game's coming out, Tony Hawk. Yep.
I think this is the first time I saw this one. It looks really nice.
It looks so good. I'm playing it day one on Game Pass. I'm so excited for it. They also announced a new map, which you'll see in just a second for this one, which is kind of crazy. I'll let you see it when it happens because I wasn't expecting it. Yeah, here we go. And here's the new map. It's Bikini Bottom.
Oh, I didn't even realize that was in there. I saw the Bikini Bottom kind of like the splash screen, but I didn't realize it was showing a level. That's cool.
Hitman.
And then
if you've ever played these games, you know they are fantastic. The Hitman games are awesome, and these look really good. They look very clean. The Switch 2 versions do.
Yeah, it looks very solid.
So I'm curious to know what Oh, by the way, here's the James Bond announcement where IO Interactive. This is them also announcing they have the rights to James Bond. We had no idea who had them before this announcement because Activision lost them, obviously. And then EA was going to have them, and that fell through. And now we know IO Interactive has the rights to James Bond, which, if you played their Hitman games, they're really fucking good. You know they could do a really good James Bond game. And I'm very excited to see what happens.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what they do with it, too. I think that they might benefit now that Amazon has more control over the franchise. Because I think they'll let them do more with it.
Yeah. So here we go. Bravely Default 1 and 2 remastered for Switch 2. This is one of those Switch game cards that I told you about where it's just the license to play it on the card itself and not the actual game. And it's also $40 if the current pricing that was on Best Buy earlier today is to be believed.
Okay. It's surprisingly, I did see someone ask for an HD version of this yesterday. So I don't know if that was a coincidence or they're new, but that's kind of surprising that showed up, I think.
Okay, yeah, so here we go. Yakuza, I love this series so much.
What? You like Yakuza?
Yeah, I do.
I've never heard you talk about it before.
This is the director's cut, which has new content only on the Switch 2 version announced so far.
So you're definitely buying that too. Got it.
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's tough.
You don't like Yakuza 0?
Oh, I love Yakuza 0. It's one of the best ones. But
that's what I've heard, but apparently not enough to buy again for new content.
So the new content is some cutscenes and a multiplayer mode. I don't know how much it's worth buying it for a 7th time. So, moving on to a new game in collaboration with Nintendo.
Oh, yeah. This one took me a second because I was like...
I knew instantly what it was.
I saw this bird creature and I was like, Metroid?
I knew instantly what it was.
Oh no! I'm like, it is Hyrule Warriors, and
I said this is Hyrule Warriors.
I mean, I'm excited for it. I love Hyrule Warriors. So, and I thought they did a fantastic job.
Did you notice what this one is?
Huh?
Did you see anything about this, like what the game's story is or anything? Or did you just like
it's like the prequel to
This is what Zelda was doing during Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, which I thought was a cool idea.
Canon. So, and you can play as her. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah. I thought so too. And like I said, I thought they did a great job.
And also, it seems like there's like open world like aspects here. You see all this? Like, I don't know what's going on there, but yeah.
It's always hard to tell with these games though, because they are kind of cryptic in terms of how they're presented sometimes. So
I agree. But that definitely looked like she was walking around on her own. That didn't look like a cutscene. I don't know.
But remember, these stages can be quite big sometimes though too. So,
but there were like people talking to her while she was walking. That's why I was like, looked like a cutscene, but not. It looked like more like the, Sony walk and talk sort of deal. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, I think this looks good. I like the Hyrule Warriors games. I think they're some of the best Dynasty Warriors games.
Yeah,
I think in some cases they've been better than Dynasty Warriors, and I'm really excited for this one.
Yeah, Age of Calamity, like I said, was fantastic.
And I missed out on that one, so I'm going to be checking that out on the Switch too if it gets a upgrade.
Yeah.
So this was Hyrule Warriors: Age of Imprisonment, which is the name of it, coming out with again Nintendo and Koei Tecmo games.
Yeah.
I just like that this is canon. I think that's really cool. Here's the big news, and here's the new membership benefit. This is what everyone knew was coming. Here it is.
Yeah, it's about time. Everyone's wanted for the last 2 generations. So.
It's GameCube.
Yeah, they didn't fuck around. They're like, "Here's Wind Waker, suckers."
And bro, they did way more than that. I was so excited for the classics.
I'm just saying this where they started off with it, but yeah, I'm definitely gonna buy at least 2 of those wireless controllers. I'm very excited that they're doing a wireless controller for it. And then here's Wind Waker. They showed that off.
Did you see any of the others? Or the ones coming
Fire
in the
Emblem
future?
was on the list. The Pokemon games were there.
That's crazy.
Yeah, surprising. Soul Calibur actually was the one I was surprised the most about. Yeah, this is I own this game on GameCube. It's one of the few like not Smash Brothers fighting games I bought. I used to be decent with this one.
It's a really good game. It's a very fun game to play.
Yeah,
and then we got
F-Zero GX. I forgot about that.
Time it's been re-released anywhere. Pretty exciting.
Yeah. It still looks fucking great.
It does. It looks incredible. But they did also announce that they're like having 4K upscaling and everything.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. So
I did not see that. Oh, and it does do multiplayer online, which is also great too.
And they're about to tell you that they do upscaling for higher resolutions and stuff. There you go.
Oh, yep. Here it is.
So, yeah.
Oh, and you can create suspend points with them too.
Yeah. And you can change the controls for each individual game. Which is really and here we go. Mario Sunshine, Fire Emblem, Pokemon XD, Mario Strikers, Chibi Robo, Luigi's Mansion.
I think one thing there's surprising that they didn't have Metroid in there.
Because of this announcement, I'm going to go ahead and tell you something, right? I'm offsetting the cost of my multiple Switch 2s by selling most of my GameCube collection. Because, holy shit, those are going to plummet in price once this comes out.
That's true. Yeah.
I'm right now. Dude, I put up like fucking 5 of them before I came on this podcast. I already have like offers of like hundreds of dollars.
Yeah.
So, already offsetting the price of my Switch 2.
Oh, they're limiting these to 1 purchase per Nintendo account.
Yep.
So I guess I'm only getting 1 right away. Well, it sucks whoever's playing with me. You're gonna just have to deal with the shitty classic controller or pro controller.
So more games from publishing and developing partners, and this one's a big one. This is Deltarune, the side story to Undertale.
Yeah.
And it's the completion of the game, the whole game on 1 cartridge. Chapters 3 and 4 haven't been released yet. They've been teased for about a year now. They're being released the same day as the Switch 2, and it's a launch title for Switch 2. This is one of those I didn't think it was ever going to have an ending games that I was talking about.
Yeah.
Very excited for this. We're actually getting a finished release of Deltarune, which is fucking awesome.
I think that's a big reason I never put any time into it, because I'm like, I don't want to wait to finish this for who knows how long.
Now you can play it the day it comes out and finish the whole thing. Now, here's the other thing, because there's
This is
more
definitely
in
a
here.
big win for Toby Fox, but
That is a big win for him. Not this, because fuck Randy
God.
Pitchford. I don't give
like
a
Donald
shit
Trump
about.
now.
He looks like he's trying to be fucking Penn and Teller.
Don't care about Borderlands. Anyways, what were you gonna say?
He looks like Penn and Teller. That's what I was saying.
Oh no, you were gonna say something like game related though.
Yeah, I
Before
forgot this comes up first. There's some other games that I mentioned earlier that I didn't think were ever going to be releasing ever, let alone releasing on the Switch, and we'll see those in just a few minutes.
Yeah. Civ 7 looks great on the Switch too.
I'm like I said, I'm so happy for you because I was really hoping they would do this because I know how much you love Civ.
I figured they would because they do it on the other systems too.
I do think the mouse controls look really nice. I do have some things I like, some reserves about the mouse controls. See, there is a thing on PC called mouse smoothing. It smooths out the mouse, but it makes it not act like 1-to-1. It's a little jarring. It's a little not, as smooth as it should be. I really hope Nintendo's smart enough to not have mouse smoothing with their mouse controls. Otherwise, it will feel very odd. However, I will also point out right now we're talking about NBA 2K and WWE 2K, which I'm really happy. More WWE games. Right here.
Here's your favorite
this
game.
clip right here. This game. I'll show you what clip it was. And actually, everyone saw it that was watching it. Right here. Froze. Whole screen froze for the next 10, 15 minutes. So this is the first time I'm seeing the next 15 minutes of this direct now. And I will say this. I mean, this does look like a fun game to play with friends. If you like crafting games. And I do. I like playing them with Katie. I like playing them with a lot of my friends in Discord. So this will probably be something I'll play with them. Especially if we have like crossplay, because I really hope there's crossplay on the Switch too. I don't see why there wouldn't be. Enter the Gungeon 2. Enter the Gungeon 2, which I heard, but I didn't get to see. So this is my first time seeing Enter Gungeon 2. This looks crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my god. This looks awesome.
It looks nice, very smooth.
Yeah. What's this? Okay, a little carrot guy.
Yeah, I don't remember this at all.
I didn't see this. It looks like Astroneer. I don't think it is though. I've had some friends playing Astroneer
lately. So. Lego Horizon 2.
Oh, that's what it is?
No, I don't know. I'm just making shit up.
It's definitely not.
Because it actually looks me if Sony's like, oh, we'll try again. It looks like a space game. Star Seeker.
Oh, Astroneer Expeditions. It's a sequel to Astroneer. Okay. Kind of like that.
Interesting.
Cyberpunk 2077. Ultimate Edition.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, right? And I did want to point this out. Some of these clips, it looks like there's ray tracing.
Oh, really?
And I don't know. Well, like, especially in the Cyberpunk like clips here.
Yeah.
Some of it looks a little ray tracy, and I'm not sure if it is. I might just be wrong.
I don't know. Regardless, though, it
looks really good.
The story, it looks really fucking good to the point that you have to question it. So that's good.
By the way, here's the Final Fantasy VII remake on Switch 2.
Yeah, there it is. Surprise!
Which is pretty wild, honestly. So I a year ago played through this entire game again in preparation for remake. Not remake, Rebirth.
Yeah.
And honestly, the first game's pretty fucking good. I'm gonna be honest.
I know you like the first one a bit.
Yeah. So yeah, now we're just getting like a little sizzle reel, and some of these games weren't shown during it. So here's Kimitsugami, which was a game that was shown off last year and came out on Xbox. Here's fucking Silk Song. It's Silk Song.
I saw that. I was like, so they just randomly show it off in a sizzle reel?
Yep.
Okay.
That's another one of them, of the games I never expected to see ever. Yeah. Here's 2 Point Museum, and it does kind of look like they have mouse controls. Wild Heart for the Switch, which if you remember, this is like a Monster Hunter clone, but like it did very poorly because of how badly it played on console, but it looked really good there, honestly. So it looks like they're trying again. Rune Factory. Very excited for this one. Katie's super happy for that. I can't believe Outlaws is coming out again. That game flopped so hard.
Maybe better luck the next time.
Yeah, maybe. Nobunaga's Ambition, which is, a spin-off of the Kingdoms. This looks like Fast RMX, and I think this is a sequel to it.
Fast Fusion.
It's called Fast Fusion.
Oh, Shadow Labyrinth. That was in the Nintendo Direct last week. I was like, why is it making Pac-Man noises?
Because it is Pac-Man.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Yeah, that's also from that TV show. Oh, by the way, Reanimal is a spiritual successor to Little Nightmares.
Oh, really?
So that's kind of cool. Yeah, Fortnite, which, I mean, of course, Fortnite.
Yeah, it'd be fucking shocking not to.
I do like that we've got Ridge Racer.
Yeah.
And Professor Layton. Yep.
That one I might get excited for. I haven't been very excited for the spin-offs with not Professor Layton lately.
Human Fall Flat 2, and the original game is very good, and lots of dumb fun with friends. I think the sequel will be just as good. Now, there's a few more things after this. One of them is my game of the century.
Yeah.
Here it is. This is what single-handedly made me decide I have to get a Switch 2 no matter what. I need 3 Switches. I don't know how much you've seen. Have you seen this one?
Yeah, I
saw the trailer. Do you know what this is? Okay, so you know what this is.
I don't know what the game is. I already forgot about it, but I know you really want it, and that's all I needed to know.
Okay.
As soon as I knew what it was, I was like, oh, this is a Brandon game top to bottom if I've ever seen it.
This is the developers and the director of Bloodborne's new game. Sony wouldn't let them make Bloodborne, so they went and made it on the Switch 2 instead. I'm serious. That's what this is.
Oh, really?
Yes. I'm so excited.
I was just like, it's another Souls game. I'm like, Brandon will be excited. And I'm like, I mean, it looks nice, but it doesn't do anything for me.
The basic premise of this is Sony said, no, you can't make Bloodborne or a sequel. So they went to Nintendo, and Nintendo was like, yeah, just don't call it Bloodborne. And they were like, gotcha, fam. And then this is the game.
Yeah.
And this game looks fucking incredible. I'm so excited for this. Mm-hmm. I mean, like, the content that they show off is, like, wild. Like, the world, it looks awesome. It's very Bloodborne-esque. But I think you play as a vampire this time around, which is really neat. So it's much more vampire-centric than alien-centric, unlike the Bloodborne was. But it's very, very Bloodborne. And I'm very, very excited for this game.
Yeah, it looks very nice.
I'm so happy. This is one of the other titles that I was like, yeah, you know, there was like I made a joke the other day because they said they had a thing that I saw online that was name a prediction for the Switch 2 that will never come true, and I was like, Bloodborne 2 now exclusive to the Switch 2. Made that joke, and this is basically it.
Yeah,
so I'm super fucking excited. Look at that! Oh my god! And a few other things about this. This will have co-op as well as PvP, much like the Souls games, but it will be a integrated part into the game itself. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
This looks incredible. I'm so happy. I cannot wait for this. If this one's $90, I will buy it. Dude, turn into a T-Rex. Yeah. He's a vampire T-Rex.
Why not?
My buddy, when I showed him the trailer, he was like, I saw a comment that said it's Bloodborne 2 with jetpacks, dinosaurs, and wizards. And he said, I thought they were just joking. And then I watched the trailer. And this is even called the Dusk Bloods. I mean, come on. And Miyazaki's at helm of this. He's making it. It's also a Nintendo Switch 2 exclusive. It's only on the Switch 2. Nowhere else. And that's kind of wild.
Yeah. Well, at least for now. You know, things can always change.
How often does that happen with Nintendo Switch exclusive games?
Sometimes it happens with third-party games, like the Octopath games, for example.
Okay, fair. I'll give you that.
Mm-hmm. I think the big tip-off, though, will be, you know, who the publisher is. If Nintendo's publishing, that might not happen.
I think it is Nintendo. It's Nintendo and FromSoft.
Yeah, but they do, even with the Square Enix one, like Octopath was published by Nintendo for the first year, and then they transferred the publishing rights back. So
you're right. So yeah, this I think this is it. Let me see if this is it. This is another thing. This is the fourth game that I thought would never show up in a million years.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised people are so excited for Kirby's Air Ride.
Really? It was awesome.
This game was not really well loved when it came out. It has become a cult. It has become like a cult following. It has become
one of those cult classic games that people play on emulators or spend a shit ton of money to have on GameCube.
Yeah.
And it is one of those games that really got a huge following afterwards.
This is one of the few first-party Nintendo games that I do not own for GameCube.
Damn.
Mm-hmm. But I was saying earlier, I'm surprised that they were like, yeah, do Kirby's Air Ride when we're really going to go fucking hog wild with Mario Kart.
Yeah, it's an interesting choice, right?
Yeah.
And it's the
like, this
same
seems like something
year.
they would have sat on for another year and put out, you know?
So my assumption is this is going to be like a normal racing game, right? Whereas Mario Kart's more of like their Forza Horizon, which we already know. So I think they wanted to get out a game that's more not open world centric as well. So they have the two different types of racing games and two different games being represented on the Switch 2 in the same year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, plus, in case you didn't see, Sakurai is working on this one. So, and this game, I have some thoughts on. I think
we're talking about Donkey Kong.
Yes, we're moving on to Donkey Kong game. Banana Bonanza, is that what it is?
Yeah, it's like Bonanza. Yeah, Bonanza, I think is what it is.
So this game looks insane. Like, it looks incredible. That's the first
very nice
takeaway from this game. The other thing is the sheer amount of destruction in this game makes me think the Switch 2 CPU must be pretty fucking beefy because it's doing a lot of things in this game. Like, there is a lot of things that would be taxing on a CPU with this game because it seems like every surface is destructible from what we are explained in this game, like trailer. And that makes me wonder just how powerful this actually is. Because, like, look at all of this. Like, literally, look at this. This is nuts.
Just running around wrecking things, digging underground.
Digging under the ground. And, like, they even mentioned that essentially every element of the world is destructible. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And, like, it's maintaining a really solid frame rate. I'm pretty sure this is, like, 60 FPS. This looks like it.
Yeah, it's definitely very smooth, whatever it is.
Yeah. It's giving me Mario Odyssey vibes, and I'm very happy about that.
Yeah, because to me, it's a mix between Mario Odyssey and, like, Knack.
I was gonna say like Donkey Kong 64. But
no, this game's obviously better than Donkey Kong 64.
Well, yes, obviously it is better than it, but I'm talking about the interacting with other characters element of it, and like the having so much just there. Because it does look like this might be a collectathon.
Hard to say. This definitely is more of a platformer than Donkey Kong 64.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, it's obviously more Mario Odyssey. Yeah, Donkey Kong Bonanza, that's what it is. Also, here's that Donkey Kong model again. The new Donkey Kong model. Which is just a little weird, but
July 17th.
I think they're. I think
they're
trying to get.
He honestly looks like it's Seth Rogen. Like, that's all I can see.
Maybe.
I'm wondering if they wanted something that was a little bit more in line with the new Mario movie.
The new movie, yeah, maybe.
So, I don't dislike it, but definitely a little not as what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, like I said, more in line with the Mario movie is probably the better way to put it compared to the last one. And there it is, June 5th. We knew this. I think I mentioned the announcement earlier.
Yep, they'll release the console itself as well as the console and Mario Kart World. And if you know, which we will tell you because we've already told you multiple times, Mario Kart World is $80 and supposedly $90 physical, but we haven't got that confirmed. And it looks like Best Buy is selling even the physical for $80. So $80 plus $449 is a lot more than that extra tacked on $50. So the $500 bundle is actually like a really good value if you're planning on having a Switch 2 game at launch.
Yeah, and that's what I figured. I because as soon as I saw it was $50 for just Mario Kart, I'm like, well, I know I'm gonna buy it anyways. And I'm like, and it's digitals, which is how I'm gonna get it. So I'm like, might as well. I'm like, no reason to waste money just to do the same thing. So
yeah. So tomorrow's live stream, which is on the 3rd, Oh no, tomorrow and the next day's live stream will basically be going over all of the games that they showed off, because it just shows like a sizzle reel of all the games, and it says that will be the live stream in the Nintendo Treehouse.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me too if Treehouse decides to show off some other things too. Sometimes they do that.
Yeah,
Things that maybe aren't necessarily.
I feel like we'll probably get like some controllers, like the pro controllers, maybe shown off better,
Yeah, there'll
because
be some
we
good
didn't
looks
really
at some other stuff.
we didn't really
Yeah,
get some good looks on those pro controllers. So
pro controllers will probably talk about amiibos, some other
yeah,
accessory things.
yeah.
And like I said, it wouldn't surprise me a lot of times during these Treehouse Directs. Sometimes they'll like don't expect anything like groundbreaking. Like they're not going to be like, oh, here's the new Zelda game for the Switch 2. Like
No,
no, they're
but
not
they
going to do
did say
anything like
that
that.
they were going to show off the app for the new uh, Zelda Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom Switch 2 edition. So that is shown in the little sizzle reel at the end.
Yeah,
So
that makes sense. Mhm.
yep.
All right. Um,
There's a lot there. There's a lot to take
mhm.
in, and there's a lot that wasn't talked about, such as the pricing that we've talked about multiple times now. $449 for the console, or $500 for the console and Mario Kart World.
Yes.
It's a lot. It is a whole lot, and especially when you kind of take into effect that there's technically going to be only 2 launch window slash launch day first party Nintendo games,
Uh,
unless you count the tech demo, which I really don't, gonna be honest. Um,
yeah, no, I do not either. So I will say, and I agree with you. This is a surprisingly not that Mario Kart's not going to be good, not that
no,
Donkey
I
Kong is not
actually
going to
think
be
Mario
good.
Kart's gonna be incredible. I'm very
Yeah.
excited for it.
Yeah, I think those are going to be great. I will say though, definitely, and I said it earlier in when we were talking too, kind
Yeah,
of surprising that there's not really a strong first party game at launch, like by the first day. I mean, Donkey Kong kind of fills that void, but it's a month later. Uh, so that's that there too. And also, I think, and I this might just be them being a little bit tepid. But I do kind of feel like there's maybe something else coming out for the Switch 2 before the end of the year. That they probably have not
I
announced yet.
well, but they showed Metroid. It's got to be Metroid.
Yeah, but it could be. It could be Metroid. They there is definitely a possibility they could be like. I mean, there's throughout I guess the rest of the year, there's enough stuff that they might not do anything else. But I could also see them putting in another game there too. I don't know. I'm guessing probably not something huge. I think they probably knocked off all their big stuff because you figure what from between now until the end of the year we got Mario Kart, Donkey Kong,
Mm-hmm.
Metroid, Pokemon Legends,
Mm-hmm.
the Hyrule Warriors, Age of
Mm-hmm.
Calamity. Then you have the
Age
all
of
the game
Imprisonment.
upgrades.
Age of
Which
Imprisonment.
yep, yeah, the Hyrule Warriors.
Yeah.
Um, and was there another one? I think those are at least the biggest ones.
I mean, we got Kirby. Did you say Kirby Air Ride?
I just said I didn't say Kirby. Yep, yeah, I forgot about that. I was thinking in my mind, I was imagining Kirby and the Forgotten Worlds, with the game
I mean,
update.
you have other games that aren't like Switch, like there's a lot of confirmed day one Switch 2 games. It's just not many first party games. Like, because
Yes.
you have Deltarune, you have
Mhm.
Yakuza Director's Cut, you have Hogwarts Legacy.
Yeah,
You have a
that last
lot
sizzle reel,
there.
almost all of them were day one games.
Yes.
My guess is, and this, I think this is just me being realistic, but I think Nintendo was like, hey, this is what we're gonna put out, but we're not gonna try to overwhelm the platform. We're gonna put out some decent stuff. We're gonna let third parties kind of get their stuff out there too, so they have ample opportunity to get seen. And they're like, well, they're probably just like we'll keep on pacing stuff out like we have been. Like they don't necessarily need to go crazy and drop all their first party games right out the door. So just kind of get things in as they're going. So
I have a feeling we'll have another game announced tomorrow or the day after.
like I said,
But it
I
won't be
think
something. It won't be something huge, but it will be something like, you know.
it is very realistic. We will have at least one more normal Nintendo Direct between now and the end of the year.
Oh no, I mean I think we will have another Switch 2 launch game announced by Treehouse before
Oh,
the
I don't
next
think
2 days
so.
are up.
I think the biggest stuff. I think they got it. Unless it's like something like small.
Yeah,
Uh,
no, I don't think it's going to be big. I think it'll be something smaller. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, this like I could see them doing something like a what's the word I'm looking for? Like like NES remix, kind of like, not that particular type game, but that just kind of like quantity of
Yeah.
game. Yeah. Just
Uh,
something kind of small, fun, like I don't even remember what to call it, like a WiiWare or whatever, that kind of smaller Nintendo digital game kind of thing.
mhm.
But we'll see. We'll see. I also wouldn't be surprised that they also could announce more stuff in terms of like features and that kind of stuff too. I could see
Yeah.
them doing something like that. hmm but it'll be really interesting. I'm actually really interested to see kind of what they do with the treehouse stuff. I'm not going to sit there and watch all 7 hours of it, but it'd be kind of nice to
I'll
see some of the
tune
games
in
in motion.
regularly, just a
Yeah.
little look see here, look see there, that sort
If
of
I was
thing.
home, I would have it on in the background. Like that would be perfect for it.
Yeah.
hmm
So,
Uh,
it does look like some of the Switch games for Switch 2 will also just be the Switch 2 editions of like Breath of the Wild and what do you call it? Not just upgrades, because I'm seeing box art with Breath of the Wild as well as Tears of the Kingdom for Switch 2.
oh yes, they
So,
did say that some of those Switch 2 edition games will be sold like retail like that. So
the camera will be day one. Well, we know that.
yep. Camera will be day one. The GameCube controller will be day one. They did say that. So a lot of the accessories and stuff should be out kind of, from the get-go.
hmm
Um, you said you had some things that you thought you would never see. Were those just the games in
Yeah,
the
yeah,
thing?
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Definitely that, as well as we already. So I said 4 games, and those were the completed Deltarune, Silk
Uh-huh.
Song, a Bloodborne spiritual successor, that sort of thing, as well
Yeah.
as a new Kirby Air Ride. Those were the
Oh
four
yeah.
things that stood out to me, which I did
Oh
not
yeah.
think I would ever see any of those games again, basically.
Oh yeah.
Um, and the other thing that stood out obviously was the mouse support. I do think the mouse support looks incredible, and I
Mhm.
think something like that is going to really drive the industry forward. I
Oh
think
yeah.
we're going to see a whole lot of new gameplay style games, and it'll also make for a more innovative game, because the thing about bringing a mouse support like gimmick to a console is that it's just a different kind of controller,
Yeah.
basically. And also, it could do something that hasn't been done, because, if you play on PC, you play with one mouse, not two.
That's true.
So you technically have two on the Switch too. So there's a lot of wiggle room. There's a lot of area for some innovation in gaming here with that general idea in mind. I also
hmm
do think we could see some gaming genres brought back from the dead, such as light gun games. With
Light
this
gun
mouse
game.
support, I think we could get light gun games back, and I think that would be fucking awesome. I
Yep. I
do think
also
that. Oh, go on.
fully expect that we'll get Mario Party, or not Mario Party,
hmm
Mario Paint.
Oh
Um,
yes,
yeah,
yes,
mhm,
that would be fucking awesome.
yes,
I would love that actually.
me too.
Uh, uh, and then there's also the other things, like for instance, I already talked about Metroid Prime Beyond, Metroid Prime 4, whatever the fuck they're calling
Mhm.
it. It with mouse control is a whole nother like beast. That's like a whole nother level for a first person shooter. And I think
Yeah,
when people actually get their hands on it and like see that, they'll be like, oh wow, okay, like maybe mouse and keyboard or what have you isn't such a like, you know, scary thing after all.
hmm
And it's not something that is like inherently bad or
yeah,
that doesn't make sense, and it might ease some people in the future into like PC gaming as well, because it could be like a doorway for that. And I don't think this is happening now or anytime soon. However, and this is a big however,
yeah,
if there is ever a point in time where every single console manufacturer also releases their games on PC, at least some
uh-huh.
of them. You listening? I'm
Yeah,
not saying this is happening anytime soon, because we've already discussed this in the past. Like Sony's now finding that in order to offset the cost of some of these very expensive games and the prices that they're charging for their games, they're having to port games to PC now and that sort of thing. I
yeah,
do think that if Nintendo Switch 2 ever has to port some of their games to PC, they're already halfway there because they
yeah,
have that mouse control support. They have that baseline for that already. And I think that's really cool. And also, I really like the fact that me as a PC gamer, I can just kind of push my keyboard to the side, push my mouse to the side for a second, and my mouse, my desk that I'm sitting at, I could just use it to play my Switch 2 games also.
Yeah.
That's fucking cool. I like that. I like having those options. I think this is awesome. I think this is fantastic. I'm very excited to see what is going to come of this because, like I said, I'm getting Metroid Prime day one. It's simple as that. It looks awesome. I'm very excited for that. It might be my most the game I'm most looking forward to this year now after seeing more stuff about it. And
this is a great year for gaming. So,
and the mouse
I said it
control
before, but
really excites me as well because I do think like when people see just how much more precise you can be with the mouse control, like that a lot of people, it'll click with people and they'll be like, oh damn, this is why people play these sort of games. And I do also think that those sort of games that you see on PC that are mostly mouse controlled will have an easier barrier to entry coming over to the Switch too.
Yeah, definitely. 100%.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, like stuff like Civ and stuff. Those people that play that, very religiously, like they'll be able to get into that a little bit easier now for sure. Also, too, and you didn't really touch on this, and I think it's also kind of an extra thing with the mouse support too.
Yes.
I think for me, it's nice to have the mouse control, honestly, with the left-hand Joy-Con. Like, I think that is very, very nice because obviously you're playing on computer, you're using more your keyboard.
You'd be able to do both. Is that what they were showing, or did they already announce that? Because I saw the right hand.
They were using the left hand for the controls and then the right hand for the mouse stuff. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, but I thought, oh no, that's normal because the left hand for the controls would be like the WASD on a keyboard.
No, I know that's what I'm saying. But the fact that it's an actual controller instead of a keyboard.
Yes. I agree. I do think that's really cool. I like that.
That's easier for me. Like I don't love using my problem with the keyboard and mouse controls is honestly it's more the keyboard than the mouse. Like mouse stuff's easy. Like I don't always, and obviously you play on computer more, so this is more of a issue for me than it is for you. But like I always have a little bit more difficulty kind of figuring out where my hand should be, kind of my left hand should be kind of when I'm playing. And also too, was saying, while a lot of games do use those standard kind of controls for the movement and strafing and stuff, not all games do, and some games will throw in like really stupid keyboard controls along with it as well. So just to kind of have it, just more centered around a controller.
I think when it comes to that, those are very specific games to do that sort of thing. But like most often than not, WASD is your up, down, left, and right for every game, unless you change it yourself, which also it looks like will be an option. So I think you'll be able to change like controls, and I'm wondering how you'll be able to customize the mouse controls. Like, are we gonna have like sensitivity settings and stuff like that for the mouse pointer? Because that's kind of fucking neat if so. Yeah, I got a lot of feelings about this, and I'm very excited to see how everything works because I do look forward to this quite a lot. I think there's just a lot of technology here, and looking at the tech that is here and what we're seeing in front of us, I understand the price point of $450, and I don't actually think that's a bad price point for the console itself.
I think we figured that we would be somewhere between $399 and $450.
I don't think that's a bad price point, is what I'm saying. With all the tech that we have here crammed into this thing, you got noise canceling, you've got the camera functionality, you've got the two USB ports, the one for charging the dock and the one for like having a camera set up or for having a controller plugged in. And you have those two things. You have all this stuff there that is a lot. You have we didn't even really talk about this. We kind of talked over it, but they announced that they have 3D audio with the Switch 2, which is really fucking cool. You have all of this stuff crammed into a console that's like $450. That's also a handheld, and it's got a 1080p screen at 120 FPS, which I'm guessing they mean hertz when they say that. Whatever. Because I can't imagine they're gonna let screen tearing be on their Nintendo console. That would just be stupid. Yeah, exactly. So you take all of that into account, and then you look at the price of like $450. and you look at these other handhelds on the market, granted, these other handhelds are also PCs, obviously Windows computers or Linux computers if you're using a Steam Deck. But you look at the technology that's here, and honestly, people were saying like it was going to be on par with like a PS4. I think this is more technology than a PS4. Like I really do. I think this is like higher end technology. I think this is closer to like a PS4 Pro, honestly, if not a little bit higher than a PS4 Pro for what we're seeing here. And the other thing that stood out to me, and you may have noticed it as well, you look at a lot of these trailers or gameplay or whatever for PS5 and Xbox Series X games, and you see a lot of blur. You see a lot of like noise.
Yeah.
Because of the upscaling technique that they're using. What fucking upscaling technique is the Switch 2 using? Because that shit was crystal clear.
Yeah, it was like, sharp as fuck.
Don't know, but like I think there's some kind of new technology here that we haven't seen before, and I'm really excited to find out what the hell it is. Like maybe because like this was just introduced and it was the closest thing I could think of. Maybe they're using something like DLSS 4 because this is like an NVIDIA product, so maybe that's here. And if that's like this is the first time DLSS is being used on like a console, AMD sit the fuck down because Nintendo and NVIDIA just killed you.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. This is something I would like to see. I'm sure Digital Foundry is working on something. It'd be kind of nice to see what their thoughts are on all the stuff that we saw, because I'm sure they'd have some very interesting insight into everything that's here.
I guess the last thing I'll say is now that we've seen the Metroid Prime Beyond gameplay for Switch 2, do you think the gameplay we saw before was also Switch 2?
No, I still think that was Switch 1.
And you know what? If that is the case, that's very impressive.
Yeah.
Because that also looked pretty decent.
No, I agree. And actually, even from the kind of to rewind to the Switch Direct from last week, Switch 1
Direct.
I
wanted to talk about
analysis that basically was like, yep, this is a very much a Switch 1 game. Like it seems like it's running on Switch hardware. So and that still looked great too.
Can I say a few things about last week's Direct for Nintendo? Sure. Because that was actually wild. I forgot all about it. I think it's really crazy that the last Nintendo Direct before the Switch 2 Direct, we got an announcement of dead Sony franchises being brought back by Nintendo, and it made me laugh really fucking hard.
Yeah, we were just talking about Patapon like last week.
Yes, right?
And then they're like, ta-da! And we're like, what the fuck? But okay, I'm all for it. So
Patapon,
that was a surprise.
Shots Golf.
Definitely, Hot
Shots Golf.
Oh yeah, yep. Although I think it's what Everybody's Golf, but
Everybody's Golf was the name used outside of the U.S. It's still Hot Shots Golf. It's the same. It's the same thing. But yeah, I was super excited about that when I saw that, and there was one other one that was like, oh wait, no. You know what? Got to give you your moment. Rhythm Heaven? Yeah.
Well, Rhythm Heaven and Tamagotchi, both of them were really surprising. I was just about to say, I'm like, this is obviously Nintendo has rolled into their like end of life phase with the Switch, where they're like, hey, let's do crazy shit. And that's what we got. Tamagotchi Life, I don't know if you saw this, is the most liked.
I did see this
video on, I think it was Nintendo Japan's Twitter in the entire existence.
Guess what?
Like their account.
It's still more liked than the Switch 2 announcement that came out today also.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not surprised considering it was like multifold more liked than anything else. Like it was that game is going to sell ridiculously well. And I'm actually, not that I didn't think it would, because I mean it was really popular. It had lots of memes, lots of popular stuff. But it definitely seems like it's going to be a really well-selling game, and very smart for them to put it on Switch 1, because that means you have that massive user base on top of all the people that are going to be getting Switch 2s to be able to play it. So that looks good. I'm stupid excited for Rhythm Heaven. I know I just only said like 3 sentences about it earlier, but when
I saw that, I was like, Mike is so happy right now. I know he is like so happy when I saw that. I was like, hell yeah, Rhythm Heaven. Did you see Rift of the Necrodancer, which I
saw that
a few weeks ago?
So that's out now.
The game is awesome. I highly recommend it. If if you're looking for a rhythm game, it's very fun, but it's very hard. So keep that in mind.
I will say though, like having that and then Rhythm Heaven in the same direct,
Yes,
I was like, oh okay. I'm like, I know which one of these two rhythm games I want the most. Uh,
obviously. Yeah, no,
yeah,
I got you.
but I definitely will probably end up picking that up at some point. It surprisingly it deflated my interest in it like a lot more than I
Yeah,
expected it to.
I think they were hoping to get people to buy it that day to like
Mhm.
get them in the like rhythm game,
Yeah,
door, and then they get Rhythm Heaven next year when it comes out, which
yeah.
I
So Rhythm
believe is
Heaven's next
2026.
year, and so is
Yeah,
Tamagotchi.
yeah,
So already at least, and that was nice of them because that's basically them saying like, "Hey guys, you at least got another year of support from us." So
yeah,
here you go. Here's some things. And I mean, really, if you even think about it, if you kind of even just pull out, the Switch original Switch One stuff just kind of on its
yeah.
own, you still got Metroid, you still got Pokemon, you still got Rhythm Heaven, you still got Tamagotchi.
Hmm.
So you have a pretty solid, just first party year just with that, or first party. Well, when I say year, I mean from March to March kind of thing.
Hmm.
For those games. So there's still some stuff that is exciting for the Switch, and obviously some stuff that we just talked about for the Switch too. That's very exciting. So I think my thing will be, I think my big question is, are they gonna go a little bit harder on the Switch 2 exclusive games for the rest of the year? Because obviously, we do know that they have,
Yes.
the couple that they announced, or are they gonna announce maybe something? Because I kind of would not be surprised if they do, maybe probably a September direct would be my guess.
Yeah.
Um, to kind of gear things up for the holidays, and sometimes they do announce bigger stuff. That I want to say that's when they announced, what was it, Echoes of Wisdom last year. Like, I feel like that was kind of a
I'm gonna be honest. I think I know what they're gonna do.
yeah,
I think they're gonna like trickle out the Switch 2 games for like the first year, but
yeah,
put out a lot of like Switch 2 enhanced games. I think
yeah.
that's what's gonna end up
Mhm.
happening. So I think we're gonna see things like Age of Calamity. We'll probably get an enhanced port. We'll probably see things like we already had Pokemon
Mhm.
Scarlet and Violet confirmed to get an enhanced version.
Yes, and
Um,
also Link's Awakening and Echoes of Wisdom are both getting
yes.
it too, which made me really excited because I think both of those games look fucking phenomenal, but the frame rate stuttering is
Hmm.
just so it just upsets me every time I
I
see it because those
I
games are
can't
so good.
not see the Xenoblade games getting an enhanced version. I feel like all of them will probably end up getting one, and
Yeah. Although
once that
honestly,
happens,
mhm,
I'm there. I'm
yeah.
there.
And we talked about it last week. There was inside Xenoblade Chronicles X Files,
Hmm.
60 frames per second mode that's there. Although I will say, that said, uh, Digital Foundry had a very glowing uh review for Xenoblade Chronicles X.
Yeah,
They
I've heard a lot of really good things about Xenoblade Chronicles X,
it
and
is
I've seen some footage, and I think it looks awesome.
Yeah,
It's
they
just
basically, in my
you know
experience
how
too, they
I am.
basically said, "Oh, I know." They said it's basically 30 frames per second with very few frame drops, and that's my
Hmm.
experience with it too. It's so very obviously smooth. It looks nice. I also just to even talk about their video a little bit further, I did like this. They showed like a side by side between like Halo Infinite and Xenoblade Chronicles X, and they're like, we're not talking about graphics here, but they're like, look how much better Xenoblade Chronicles X looks. And they're like, a lot of this is art direction, but they're
Yep.
like, they did so much like masterful work and like the art direction here
They
that this game outshines
The
something that's
Xenoblade
on a more
devs
powerful
do
system.
like some fucking black magic to get their games running as good as they
Oh,
do.
they do. Yeah. Yeah, the Xenoblade Chronicles X is like ungodly. It does not
Those devs
belong
are
on the
probably
Switch.
like the ones I like respect the most when it comes to making Switch ports. Because you look at something like the Pokemon games, and then you look at the Xenoblade games, and you're like, Game Freak, do that, do
Yeah. Or
something
like,
like that,
how are these on the same system? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
hmm
So anyway, I did want to talk about one other thing because
Yeah,
this
of
is
course.
the most confusing thing from the last direct.
hmm
The new game sharing, the
Yes.
new game cart sharing.
hmm
This is weird. I don't fully understand this, and I'm a
What do you
little
mean?
confused because of the way they explained it. Okay, so they explained how you could share your games between systems, right? You could like lend them
Oh,
out, and that.
the okay. I see what you're saying. because when you said game share, I was thinking about that thing we saw earlier in this video where they're like, "Oh, you can play Clubhouse games with 3
Oh
other
no,
Switches."
no,
Oh,
no,
you're
no, no,
talking
no, no,
about
no.
how you can loan out your digital game.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Mhm.
And I feel like this is nothing but a hindrance to what we already have. Because the way they explained it, right?
Uh-huh.
The way they explained it is if I had a game that's digital,
Yes.
when the new system goes into effect,
Uh-huh.
me lending that game out to one of my other consoles takes it away from the other console that already had it
Correct.
and makes it so it's no longer playable on that console.
Correct.
That doesn't make any sense because right now, for instance, when I had two Switch 2s, I
Uh-huh.
could log in to another console and
Mhm.
just play that game and then have the game also on my main home console and play that game.
Correct.
And because of that, I feel like it's a step back.
So before you get too down this rabbit hole,
Yes, yes.
that's not going away. That will still
Okay.
be there.
So
They're just giving
we
this
know
as an
that. We know
alternative
that's
option.
like okay, so it's just an alternative. It's not a replacement.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
This would be
See,
so,
that's a
but
little bit better. It's just like the thing that made me think like
Mhm.
was like it felt like they were trying to stop you from having a game in two places at once, even digitally, which didn't make much sense to me because it's
No.
like if I just want to like pick back up the game on like Katie's Switch 2, for
Yeah.
instance, or
Mhm.
something, and go play it in the living room, I don't want to have to transfer back and forth the game when I want to play it on one of the systems versus the other one. And that seems really shitty. So that's what I thought they were explaining with the digital cart thing with the game sharing. And it didn't make a lot of sense to me because it felt like it would be more of a hindrance. Because just imagine, like, I buy Mario Kart World. Mario Kart World. That's what it
Yeah.
is, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, Mario Kart World. I'm playing it in my room, right? I'm
Mhm.
playing Mario Kart, enjoying my time, and
Yeah.
then I want to go and play some with Katie, on the split screen
Uh-huh.
in our living room, on the
Mhm.
big TV in the living room.
Yeah.
And then I do the game share thing where I send it over to the other system. But then
Uh-huh.
it takes it away from my system, and then you have to wait for the share back and forth. And that's what I thought was happening. And
Yeah,
that's what
so
made me be like, this seems really like counterproductive. You know what
no,
I'm
this
saying?
really is,
They
yeah, no, I do.
explained it very poorly.
They did and they didn't, but I would say so. Yeah, really, there's a kind of like this is how I imagine it, and this is kind of like this. I think maybe would be a better explanation for like case use kind of stuff. So
Mhm.
like for me, so obviously I'm gonna get a Switch too. So if I want to theoretically, if I wanted to transfer or play stuff that on my original Switch, that because obviously I'm gonna transfer my licenses to the new Switch too.
Yeah.
Uh, theoretically, for me, it would be kind of like I would use the old system where it's like, I will use the old Switch and go into that kind of like airplane mode kind of thing, and just be like, where it will connect to the internet just to make sure you can
Mhm.
use it and then go from that way. But
Yeah.
for example, though, alternatively, my sister wants to buy my nephew a Switch this year. So
Mhm.
like for him, like if he wanted to, and they live in a different country, so it's not like I can necessarily do some other things. But if he wanted to play, say, like Super Mario Wonder, and I could lend him my copy of the game, and that goes out for 2 weeks. He can do whatever he wants to it,
But
and then at the end of the 2 weeks, it automatically
he has
comes
to
back.
be there though.
He has
You
to be
can't do
there.
it over the
This
internet.
no, it's not quite that. They have to be
Okay.
there initially to set it up, but
Okay.
after that, they do not need to be. So
So like if I logged into so let's say for instance I logged into my friend's account
uh-huh,
on my Switch,
yeah.
right?
Hmm.
Then he could send that cart over to my Switch for me to borrow? Is that what you're
So
saying?
no, so basically when you do the whatever system there is to put this in place,
Mhm.
when you set it up for the first time, the switches need to be in the same room together.
Okay, but if your
Um,
friends or your nephew's in a different like
yeah,
what'd you
so
say?
next time I see him, I set
Mhm.
it up
Okay.
and set it up for the sharing. Then once he's gone, we don't have to be in the same room again. We can transfer games back and forth that way. It just is for the initial setup you have to be together, and then after that doesn't matter.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
So
let
it's
me ask a question because
yeah.
this is something I've been wondering about this.
Hmm.
What's to stop someone from using a VPN and saying they're on your network and they're in person? and then
My
you
guess is
send
the
it over your
systems
network.
probably have to talk through Bluetooth initially just to let them know that they're
Okay.
there.
Okay.
There's probably some. I don't think it's through Wi-Fi. My guess is it's probably got to be something local.
It says it.
But,
It says it. It says it's on Wi-Fi. An internet
well, no,
connection is required when loading and ejecting games between the family plan. So if someone was on your family plan, then wouldn't you be able to do it via Wi-Fi and like
but again,
essentially do the
that's
same
after you do the
sharing?
initial setup. So once
Okay.
the initial setup's done, then it should be good to go. But you have to be in the same room at the same time for the initial setup.
I see.
My guess is it just so it's like I'm guessing it's probably just a security thing to make sure you know it, and you're just not sending them out to whoever the fuck
Yeah.
across the world, which I guess
It just
makes sense.
makes me wonder if someone's gonna find a workaround for this. I feel
There
like someone's
probably will be
definitely gonna find one,
something like
and then
this.
gone. Yeah.
Oh no, I was gonna say something like this seems like it seems like something that someone will either be able to do like a workaround through like a program or something. Like if you remember, like alternatively, think about something like remember like back in the day, people spoofed Street Pass so you could get Street Passes from like other 3DSs that weren't near you. So I'm sure there will probably be some who knows how practical way to do it, but I would be surprised if it's um set in stone, like invincible to get through. So, but I do think this is a very positive thing. I saw some people were really down on it, but I'm like, look, Xbox doesn't allow sharing, PlayStation doesn't allow sharing. I understand Steam allows more like liberal use of sharing, but this is fucking Nintendo. I'm honestly
Steam is
shocked that
like
they're doing this.
crazy. I literally have a okay. So let me explain Steam's new current family sharing setup because it's actually nuts. So on my Steam account, I have a settings, and we have a thing called family. In family, all you have to do is someone sets up the family like main account, right? And then they're like, okay, so here's the code. You log into the code, you become part of the family plan. The family plan makes it so anyone on your family plan that buys a game, you have access to it. Vice versa as well. So like quite literally, me and my friends have been like, hey, I'm thinking of buying the single player game because I have some extra funds, and I know you had it on your wish list. Did you want to also play it? Like, for instance, I've been playing the fuck out of Monster Hunter Wilds. I've just finished it recently, actually. At least the first story mode before you go into the actual like game. You know how those games are, where like the real game starts after the credits roll. Well, I just rolled credits, and when I haven't been playing it, my friend just boots it up on his computer and plays it. He's in fucking Boston, and I'm fucking down here in Georgia. And it just works like that, and that shit's so simple. And it's also caused my friends to buy games that they've played that I own because they would rather just play them alongside me. So like, I don't know. I feel like maybe if Nintendo followed that suit, they would actually sell a lot more games too.
Yeah,
I feel like if everyone followed that suit, they'd sell a lot more games.
I'm sure that this will kind of evolve, down the line. But I think that this is something that again, kind of like with the mouse stuff, it's something positive for the console industry, and I think it's something that I wouldn't be surprised if Microsoft and Sony might even try to do better versions of on their own, and that is just going to make the. I think that will just kind of make things more progressive and moving forward in the future. So. Yeah, I think it's a good first step, but yeah, definitely you can still do it the one way that you have been, or you can do it the new way with the other one. So you're not really locked into one way or the other. So,
all right then. I guess the last thing I will talk about is the switch to purchases through Nintendo.com. I don't think we really touched on that.
What do you mean?
Like how
the system, like the pre-order part.
Yes. How you can purchase the system, but only if you've had 12 months of.
No, you've had to do it has to be 2 years of NSO.
2 years of NSO.
And also 50 hours of gameplay. So you don't have to not gameplay of NSO, but just you have to have played your Switch for at least
2 years.
Hours.
I thought it was only 12 months. Like,
I think
hold
it was
on,
2 years. Let me
I got the page up somewhere because I did sign up for it. Let me just check as well.
I think I still have mine up as well.
12 months of paid membership and a minimum of 50 total gameplay hours.
Okay, so that's a little better then. I mean, it makes sense that I think it's their kind of way just to make sure that the fans are the ones who are getting it. And
anti-scalper measures, and I think they're actually very good anti-scalper measures. However,
yeah.
I do think the other thing to talk about with that is, why is theirs going out on May 8th when everyone else is going out on April 8th? It feels like maybe they wrote the wrong date here, because this seems really late compared to everyone else.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, it is very strange.
And then the last thing is the pricing structure in other places. For instance, we mentioned this in our chat, but the console in Japan is only $330.
Yeah.
And there are two different SKUs in Japan. There is the international version, which is around the same price as ours, if not a little bit more, like $550, almost $600. And then there is the Japan region locked version, which is the $330 one. Which I know the yen is in the toilet right now, but I also have to assume it's got to be because of the tariffs that our prices got raised.
Yeah, that's my guess as well.
And that's probably more along the lines of what they wanted to charge for it. So
yeah, I agree with you too, and I think, obviously, and I think we talked about this before too. Like, Nintendo is definitely at a very this is probably the one thing that they regret about waiting until this year to launch the system, because the uncertainty of the tariffs. Because they really don't know, so they kind of have to. And really, once they announce the price, they don't want to. Because think about it, if they announced out $350 today, and then the government, next week's like, oh yeah, we're doing 50% tariffs. Well, all of a sudden now you have to raise the price of the system, and that looks super shitty because the system's not even out yet. So, I think they went with a higher price than they probably wanted to, knowing that tariffs were a possibility, and probably figured, down the road it would be nice if they needed to. They can do a nice, price cut or sale, for the holidays if things ended up being really favorable. But definitely does not seem like that's the case now. Especially considering too the tariffs that are on Vietnam, which is where Nintendo's been doing a lot of production on the system,
are like
40%. So they might actually end up losing money on the system here. But at least from what was rumored was they already have multiple millions of systems inside the country, I believe is what I had read. So,
and that's great. I hope.
So they already should be here. Tariffs wouldn't be an issue because that those are things that are on delivery. So at least initially we should be price safe. So I wouldn't expect that price to change too much, at least right away, but we'll see what ends up happening.
Good.
And I agree with you. Definitely better to probably get it out now than find out, in a year it's gone up to like $500 or whatever. So, I also will say too, I do really like the blue, black, and orange kind of thing. For the system, I think it looks really nice. So, yeah. But I am very excited. I know online, obviously, the biggest I think sticking point for a lot of people seems to be the price for the games and the price for the system, which is understandable. So I can't really fault anyone for being there, but I think a lot of that has just to do with the uncertainty of the economy right now. So it's unfortunate, and hopefully that kind of stabilizes out. So, but we'll see. I also think too, obviously the sweet days of $60 new releases is over.
That was one other thing I wanted to mention. There's a lot of people that are like, Nintendo being the affordable console, and now they're raising their games to $80. That's crazy. I'll just stick with my $70 PS5 games, and I'm just sitting here like, those aren't staying $70, buddy.
Yeah, now that Nintendo's opened the door, you're gonna see it on all the systems.
No. I'm gonna say, I'm calling it right now. That original rumor is true. If Call of Duty, not Call of Duty, sorry, not if Call of Duty, but if GTA 6 releases this year, it's $100.
Oh, I didn't see that rumor.
You never
totally see it though.
Yeah, that was a rumor. They wanted to charge $100 for it, but they weren't sure if they would be able to. And their internal chats were everything pushing towards having the game be $100, but they were waiting for that final nail in the coffin that would allow them to do so. And Nintendo just gave it to them. So yeah.
Well, as long as Mario Kart sells well. If it doesn't, then that could probably make them change their minds.
What about Kirby selling well? Because that's an $80 game also on the list.
Is it? Yeah. I didn't look at all the prices yet. we'll see with that one. That Kirby Air Riders for $80 is a real tough sell.
No. Not Air Riders.
Oh, you're talking about the other one?
Yeah, I am.
Forgotten
Yeah,
Worlds?
I am. Yeah, the prices are all over the place for like Switch 2 games. They are really weird. So here's the prices we have. We have Kirby and the Forgotten Land Switch 2 edition, $79.99.
Okay.
Street Fighter 6 Switch 2 edition, Years 1 and 2 Fighters version, $60.
Okay.
Mario Kart World US version, $80.
Mm-hmm.
Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild Switch 2 edition, $70.
Okay.
Tears
of the Kingdom?
Hold on, I'm getting there. Bravely Default Flying Fairy HD Remastered Edition, $40. Donkey Kong Bananza, $70. Mario Kart Jamboree Party plus Jamboree TV, $80. Okay. Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, $80.
Oh, that's cheaper than
we have 1, 2, 3, 4 $80 games.
Mm-hmm.
And only one of them is a Switch 2 exclusive. And the other Switch 2 exclusive is $70. What the fuck is going on here?
This is them testing. This is them obviously testing prices. Mm-hmm. I that's got to be what it is. They got to see like what will people pay.
So what I am seeing is that the publisher gets to decide the price.
Well, it's always the case. Publisher always gets to decide.
Well, no, like there's a cap currently of $80, but the publisher gets to decide the price, and that's why the Nintendo games that are like the major first party games, aside from like Breath of the Wild and because why would they do Donkey Kong Bonanza at $70? I don't know,
that's
man. This shit don't make any sense. That's the one that
surprises me the most.
This shit don't make any sense. It makes no sense.
That's why I said it's got to be them just be putting out prices to be like, okay, what will people pay for these games? I think they don't even know. It would be my guess. It's probably
we also don't have a price for the Switch upgrades, but I think it's going to be $20 to $30. Because if you look at this, like
Japan has some out already. Some of the prices there, and they were about $10 to $20.
Okay.
And it seemed to depend. It seemed to be. I don't have the list in front of me, but it seemed to be like, if I recall, stuff that was kind of like lower end like upgrades, where it was not like a ton of like I think it was like Zelda, like Breath of the Wild, where it wasn't like a ton of new in-game content. It was like $10.
Yeah, that looks like it's $10. That's $10.
But something like Kirby was $20 because it's like an expansion.
Kirby is $20 because it's a $60 game and now it's an $80 game. So that that's how I think checks out.
Piece it together too.
That checks out.
Yeah. So I when we were going through it, I was like, oh, that's probably how they got to the pricing where they're, because they're like base game $60 plus $20 expansion, $80.
Mario Party Jamboree TV is $60 plus $20 expansion. There it is. Yep, $80. It checks out.
And that makes total sense because that seems like it's a pretty substantial upgrade.
The price makes sense then. Mm-hmm. That would mean the base price for Switch 2 games are $70.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But wait, then there's Mario Kart.
Which, like, good. That's the biggest outlier there. That one doesn't make any sense. And neither does Donkey Kong. I'm guessing. I agree. I think the base price is probably going to be $70. Mm-hmm. I don't know if Mario Kart is just like them being like, we know that about 100 million of you people are going to buy this game, and we really would like it to be $90. But
I feel like it is. So like all the prices I was just telling you is supposedly physical. So that would mean Mario Kart is $80 physical.
Okay.
I'm looking at it right now.
70 digital.
This is like on GameStop. So yeah.
Also, I guess too, just because it just crossed my mind to rewind a few seconds of the conversation. I think the Nintendo store having the pre-orders go up in May actually kind of makes sense because it lets the other retailers open theirs up first, and then the people who are left are going to basically, they probably will need
all
people who weren't able to get it somewhere else.
All this stuff has appeared on Walmart now, but you can't buy it yet. It doesn't look like. Just says it's almost pre-order time. Check back in on the 9th.
Well, at least that's updated.
Yeah, but they have like their own page for it, and the prices are confirmed here. $69.99 for Banana for Donkey Kong Bonanza, $80 for Kirby Forgotten Land Switch 2 Edition, $80 for Mario Party Jamboree, $70 for Breath of the Wild, $80 for Mario Kart, $60 for Street Fighter 6, $80 for Tears of the Kingdom, and $40 for Bravely Default. Bravely Default is confirmed to actually be the first game key card.
Oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm. So maybe that's why it's $40. Maybe game key cards will only be $40.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it could be. Also, I just did see this here. The Switch 2, you can use any USB camera.
Yeah, well, that's convenient.
Yeah, so you do not have to do that $60 camera if you do not want to.
Okay.
You probably have one at your house that you can use.
Yeah, I've got some already. But here's the other thing. Shit, I was just looking at this. Switch 2. Oh, Switch 1 accessories work with Switch 2. Some of them. There's a compatibility list already out, including the Switch Pro controller.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like I said, I know that if you look online, people are anecdotally having some issues, but honestly, I'm pretty happy with everything they showed off.
But I mean, there's actually a compatibility list from Nintendo.
Oh, sorry, themselves. This would be jumping thoughts.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's okay. No, yeah, so they do have a compatibility list out.
They even have it for games. They're like, yeah, this game don't work, which is kind of funny. Some games just won't play on Switch 2.
Yeah, and some of them they're like, we're looking into.
Mm-hmm.
The only things that were kind of definitively will not play, accessory wise, is exactly what I theorized when we talked about it months ago, and it was the Labo stuff. Everything else, first party should work. So that's good. Obviously, another burning question that we kind of wondered too. Things like amiibos definitely are going to work because obviously, there's new amiibos coming out. So we got all that. I'm excited for the new amiibos. I always get excited for amiibos, so that's kind of fun. But yeah, overall for me, I think this is really what I wanted in the next Switch. New upgrades, some new innovative controls without being too gimmicky. I think I think that they showed that the mouse controls are going to be valuable and not a gimmick. So I think those will be pretty nice. But yeah, overall, like I said, very, very happy with it. And the fact that it's only 2 months away, kind of wild, actually. So
yeah,
I mean, literally 2 months from now, we will be playing Mario Kart World. So not much longer. And and then we'll be obviously Treehouse tomorrow is going to show up a lot of new games, and then obviously the Nintendo Mario Kart World Direct in about 2 weeks. We'll see even more. We're going to be on Switch Overload for the next couple months, especially too, the Nintendo Today app, which we actually didn't even talk about that. Nintendo has their own app now to kind of update with news, and they did say that they were going to be after the Direct today, pretty regularly updating Switch 2 news through the app. So I haven't even looked at it since the Direct today. I don't know if they put anything exciting up there. Yeah, I'm guessing not, because I feel like I would have saw it somewhere else. Yeah. Oh, there we go. Yeah. So Mario Kart World, Donkey Kong Bonanza, and then that's all they've updated with it so far. So a comic strip from Animal Crossing, very random, but that's there too. So yeah. What else do you want to talk about? Anything else?
No, because I think I'm going to save the rest for like next week because there's a lot.
Yes, I agree. I think that's a great idea. Yeah. So, and I think we really covered the Direct very well today. So I think that's good.
Plus, we'll have more to talk about after the,
Yeah, after the Treehouse stuff and all that. More stuff will come out over the next day or so as they keep releasing more information. So, yeah, but it's still a very exciting time. I love that. I love this kind of this lead up to new systems. It's always like super exciting. So, all right, let's wrap it up then. Thank you everyone for listening to us tonight. Don't forget to invite us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google, Amazon, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. All of our episodes are available on game-crunch.com. And if you want to send us an email, you can always reach out to us at gamecrunchcast@gmail.com. Brandon?
No, I got nothing. Okay. No.
All right. Well, that said, my name is Mike Anastasia. Find me online. I'm Clash of Penguin there or on your favorite gaming console. And until next week, game on.
Game on. gonna be interesting because I have a lot to say because I've been reading a lot of stuff that isn't
Mhm.
mentioned in this. So we will have to also talk about some of the stuff not mentioned in this direct
Yes.
when it finishes. And here's the other thing. I have
Mhm.
so many games I played that are really good and I really want to talk about. I have to next week. Please remind me to talk about some games next week. Say you had some games last week that you wanted to talk about.
Do you want
And
me to throw up next week's Google Doc now so you can just put them down?
yes, because
No,
my
you won't
God.
forget about them. Yeah, I'll do that, and that'll be easier too, because at least that way I'll remember which episode it's for too.
Yeah.
All right, so that will be 616. Well, that will still be there. I know that. Last Meadow bullshit that's on my screen.
What?
What is this Last Meadow bullshit that's on Discord?
Last meta. Oh, that was their April Fool's joke. It's a clicker game where you touch grass.
Oh, is there a way to get it away?
I don't know. I just played it because as you can see, I have grass on my avatar because I played it.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
actually kind of fun. It was very well made for a shit post.
Mhm.
It was very funny. I really enjoyed it.
Google Doc is up for next week, so you can use that.
Thank
I
you.
have
Thank you.
Nintendo Direct ready to go whenever you're ready.
Yeah, I ended up. Let me pull that up first. I ended up playing a game. I do want to mention this. I ended up playing a game because I was
Mhm.
like, I have a feeling that this game is going to become massive, like massive.
Mhm.
There's just something about the way this game is made and like what this game is, which I didn't know what it was at the time.
Mhm.
That thought to myself, this is going to be one of those things that like has like the Five Nights at Freddy's effect, where it becomes just fucking overnight success, massive out of nowhere. And I played it, and then sure enough, all I saw was people talking about it. Literally, like right after I played it. So one of the games I'm going to talk about next week is the next big thing that I expect to see, like plushies and T-shirts and more games of, and a TV show and this, that, and the other, because it has that kind of staying power, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be like that. And it's actually really fucking good. So
Okay,
yeah.
that's good.
Yeah. I've already written that down. Let me pull up the Switch thing now.